Hello and welcome to my channel. It's Le Demi Château and I am Amadeus. I am renovating a house from the 13th century that is essentially half a chateau here in rural France. Thank you for watching and thank you for clicking on this video because today I want to go through the living room, which I call the Grand Salon. Let us embark on a journey that started in October last year. So I bought this house. And that's a completely different topic that I'm gonna talk about. But I bought this house with my ex-husband and we found the house like this. You can see it was like ugly, like it was just incredible. But enough said, let's go and dive deep into this makeover to show you all the things that were done here. I started by making a clean slate, a white wall. So I chose an off-white because I think it's better than a white, because if you choose a white it can be quite bright, and this one's a bit like off-white. It's a bit beigey but it still looks very white. So I thought it was just perfect to open up the room because the room doesn't get so much sunlight in the afternoon. It's most of the light comes in the morning. Since the previous owners already had installed some wood paneling, I thought it would be best to continue with it, and I started adding some more wood paneling. I started adding wood and wood moldings to create the illusion of having wood paneling. It was a bit of a cheaper solution than actually adding full wood panels on the walls. But it allowed me to have this feeling of chateau, of this kind of 17th, 18th century vibe that I was going for in the Grand Salon downstairs. The best way to put up the moldings back then was just to glue them on. I didn't have a nail gun at that point, so I glued all the moldings on, which meant that they would be holding up quite well actually if you applied the right glue for wood on a kind of plasterboard surface. Then I just finished it all up by caulking it, and I had a surface to work with that I could then paint all the same color. So in the end, turning this room off-white, not white, I mean it might look a bit white on the video, but it really is an off-white. That took me about like 2 weeks. That was really quite the job, like doing this huge space, but it really paid off. Like the room was so much lighter, so much more inviting, and that already changed like so much, even without changing anything else. But actually just painting everything and adding a bit more details changed it completely to a different setting. And then I played along with the idea of maybe changing the windows around and like adding some more detailing to the windows. So I eventually at one point will have to take them apart again and will have to do the outside of the windows. I just concentrated on the inside of the windows for this one. So I sanded them down and I decided to paint them black to give a bit more contrast. It's not a real black, it's a kind of a black that has a bit of a blue undertone. I found it was really pretty, and I think it was called Paris, the tone. So that was like a really good idea I found, like, and as soon as I had one set of windows painted, I could see that it made such a beautiful difference, and the contrast, it created a frame for the outside world. And this is what I love, what you can do with windows. You can really create this frame for the outside window, and the outside becomes an additional painting. especially when you live in a rural or more natural environment like I do. This is even more beautiful. Next up, I really wanted to change this fireplace. Somehow, just seeing the big beams and finding this really beautiful elements in my barn, which I think were part of a wardrobe at one point. But I really wanted to use them as a special feature over the fireplace. So I started building a box that I could put these panels on, and it took me a while to figure out how to exactly build it, but then I found a way to build it, and I found a way to attach those beautiful panels and have a bit like of a shelf on top, so that I could put like little vases or pictures on top. Nothing like too heavy, but and then came the fun part, painting it all, because I wanted to have it like look like the rest. For the sides of the mantelpiece, I found these kind of cardboard like wooden slats or pages almost, and I drew the outline of it on top, and then I cut it out so that it would fit and that the sides would look nice and clean and crisp. I just put them in with a few nails, and that was it, and it looked really beautiful. Then it was all about sanding it down, caulking it really nicely so that you actually like fill up all the gaps so you don't see it, so it looks more like one thing. And caulking is really like the best thing you can do. And then bit by bit, actually painting it and turning it into what it is right now, like a beautiful fireplace mantelpiece. I took a little break. I did this really easy lamp DIY, and then I cracked on after that. My goal was to always make like a bespoke sideboard for the side of the fireplace. I had never made furniture before, and I experienced a lot of trouble along the way. It was just like the floors are crooked, so I had to kind of find my way around it and see what works, see what doesn't work. In the end, it kind of worked out, but I was piecing together the doors with pieces of wood, so that meant I had multiple pieces of wood creating one door instead of one piece of wood, and so I had to fill it all with a special wood filler. In the end I managed, and I wanted to make a smooth surface for it, so I had to caulk and fill all the wood and then sand. I took a little break from that project and concentrated on the wall above the fireplace, because I just found like painting it in the same off-white would be really nice. So I did it. And eventually I had the motivation to carry on doing this sideboard. So I sanded it all down again, painted it all again, and I varnished it properly so that I could put stuff on and it wouldn't get any blemishes or anything. And what do you need if you live in a chateau? Right, a proper big chandelier. I found this chandelier that was so beautiful and so matching, and it's up there. And then I found other little chandelier bits, like this little wall-based chandelier. I removed all the electrical wiring from it and repurposed it so that I can put candlesticks inside. Mostly I am using LED candlesticks, so as not to get into fire trouble. But this worked really well, and now it's a really beautiful piece and adds a bit more detail and depth. And if you've been watching my vlogs, you already have seen this buffet. This buffet belonged to my boyfriend's deceased mother, and he gifted it to me once we had picked up like furniture from her place. And I gave it a little TLC. It just needed a bit of oiling here and there, and it's so beautiful. You'll see it at the end of the video how it turned out with all the decorations on top, but I'm really happy. The last job that was left was painting the skirting boards. I had left that for a really long time, and I really wanted to do that project because I found it's like this extra little bit of touch, this extra detail that just makes the room come together even more. I absolutely love this table. This table was here before and it was standing in a different corner, and I thought it would be a really nice thing because behind me is also the kitchen corner. So I thought it would be a nice idea to have the kitchen table as a prolongation of the kitchen. So I can use it as a countertop as well. I have additional workspace. I have a big table that seats like 8 people without problem, usually. 6 people with super lots of space. So it's perfect for the B&B because I have 2 rooms that I'm renting out constantly, and I have another room that is basically just reserved for retreats. So these sofas didn't always look like this. These sofas actually had different covers on them. They're all standard IKEA sofas, and back then I already ordered covers before we even got the keys for the house. So I decided on this tweet, and actually I have to say I'm kind of upset with this decision, and I can tell you why. Because I would not choose a tweet again if you have animals living in your house. For anyone who has been watching so far, I have a dog, a little whippet mixture called Anita, and she loves to sleep on the sofa. I mean, she has like her little corner where you are sitting right now next to you. She has her little corner that I usually put a blankie on, and she's fine with it. She knows she can only sleep on a blankie. But my boyfriend's dog also sleeps on the sofa. He doesn't care about blankets because he's 12 years old and he couldn't care less. He's just an old boy. He's a really good boy, but he's an old boy, and he's just got his thing going on, so I'm not going to change his routines. So I bought extra covers that I put over these sofas when I know that Thor is going to sleep here, which is absolutely fine by me, but I'm kind of like disappointed by the tweet in itself because the hair gets stuck to it really easily. I find it creates a lot of pilling, although I had looked up that it should actually be good for wear and tear, but somehow I don't know. I'm a bit disappointed by the couches. I have to say, not by the couches, by the covers, because they don't withstand as much as I thought they would, and they've been on here for like not even a year, and they already don't look so good. It's like I think the next time I will change. I found a different company that actually does covers for IKEA sofas as well, and they do it claw proof and apparently also hair proof, so that you can just like vacuum off the hair, and they're all velvet. And I do have a velvet sofa upstairs in my bedroom, and Anita uses it as it's a glorified dog bed. Let's just be honest. So when she sleeps on there, I can just vacuum and the hair goes off magically, no problem. So if I ever get the chance to change those around, because it's also quite a lump sum that you have to pay for it, I will definitely change it around to velvet. And I also really love velvet, so I don't really mind. I know that there's some people who really don't like velvet, but I do believe that velvet is really great for when you live with pets somehow. At least that's my experience with velvet. So yeah, you've kind of seen it all. You've seen my living room. You've seen all the makeovers that happened here. And just looking back at it, it's just absolutely mind-blowing that this room looked so different, and I didn't do a lot to change it except for adding some more wooden details and painting and bringing in other colors through textiles and like a rug and changing out the sofa covers and everything, and yeah, just adding more details, I think. And that's the whole thing. I think that's what makes a home. It's like putting your details into your home and that you find pretty, not that like some kind of magazine tells you it's pretty, because then you won't be happy with your home. It's your home and you need to build a home that you want and that you feel like you feel at home. Thank you very much for watching this video, and there will be more videos like this coming up, so be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the little bell notification so that you always get notified when I upload new videos. And yes, all that's left to say is I think à bientôt et au revoir from the southwest of France, and I'll see you next week. Bye!